Introduce it.
Okay, we're back. I know we
How
had a
many
short
weeks,
break.
actually? Yeah, how many
We've been
weeks?
about 2 or 3 weeks where we haven't done anything.
Okay,
So we're back.
I would like to apologise because obviously the move into the house and the Wi-Fi being installed and everything else just delayed it, didn't it? So
it's all good. We've been busy as well. We've got other things going, you know, obviously from competing and preparing for international events and all the bits and pieces that go with it. So it's all exciting. So yeah, we're back with episode 6. We're on now.
Well remembered.
Like I said in my post on our fleet page, all great series have a mid-season break. We're happy to do that. So yeah, we're going to come back episode 6 and we're going to chat a little bit about social media, I think. And I know social media is a massive subject, so it'll be hard for us to fit all that into one episode, but I think we'll look a little bit about the things people say that they probably wouldn't say in person. Why do they choose social media to vent, should we say? Is it because they feel that there's no consequence to it, or that they're protected potentially?
Yeah, so I'll just jump in on that. Something that's just coming into my head is that we all, obviously there's lots of positives for social media. We all get lots of work out of social media, etc., etc. And it's very well to say that, you know, old people, keyboard warriors use it to hide the screen, etc., etc. However, the Facebook groups are there so that people can discuss like-minded topics. So is it okay to vent? And I think that the thing is when you write a text, I've had this personally. So when you write a text, you are in one frame of mind. When someone reads a text, they're in a different frame of mind. So it could be that actually the person that's hiding behind a screen isn't, but they just thought that it would be a decent topic to talk about.
Yeah, maybe. And then, like you say, people's perceptions of what they're trying to get at get sort of blown out of proportion. And then with some of the Facebook groups, you have hundreds, even thousands of members. And out of those, each one of those is going to have a different perception of what that actually meant or what the subject meant. And then you're going to get within those hundreds and thousands of people, you're going to get people that disagree with each other in the same message thread. So it can get, I suppose, a little bit out of hand on that. But it was more to the fact that I was looking at almost when you get these different posts where people are pointing fingers, and almost abusing people, and you know, and that's the thing that I look at. So it's almost trying to say those things that if that person that you're pointing the finger at, or you're, you know, whatever you're abusing or whatever, if they were in front of you, would you be doing the same thing?
And actually, I know this isn't social media related, obviously, but I was at a show at the weekend, and what I did notice, and I'm noticing generally more in life, is that people are being quite rude. People are quite being selfish. It kind of brings us back to what we were talking about with Terry Arnott, in the fact that you know, 6 months on, coming out of COVID, people are still struggling. They've forgotten how to communicate with each other. I think certain sides of our brain are not working. However, there are those people that definitely hides behind the keyboard. And the other thing is that I'm really aware of with social media is there's always someone watching you. There's always someone watching you, whether that be in a good way, whether they're stalking you, whether they're like following you because they like your posts, or whether they're following you because they hate you. That you know, and that's where social media is so dangerous. I think.
In a way, absolutely. And we all, you know, we can all sort of get involved in it. We all make mistakes, and we all say things sometimes and do things. I'm not saying that it's, you know, that we shouldn't be saying sort of things on Facebook and whatever, but some of the posts I think I've seen recently are really, really sharp, if that makes sense. And you're like, wow, you know, that's quite harsh. And I just think sometimes, would you be saying that?
No, they wouldn't.
You
Or
know,
some
if they were
people would.
face to face.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's the thing for me. And it was just something, yeah, I thought from like we say, social media is really, really good. It helps us. I mean, I use social media a lot for promotions, you know, for friends, conversations and all the bits and pieces. And yet, you know, I've been involved in a few different conversations on social media. And maybe I've said things that people don't like, vice versa, whatever. But some of them have been, I've read some posts, and they, you know, for me, I'm like, I'm going to walk away from that because that's
yeah,
quite,
it does bring you down mentally, doesn't it? So
yeah.
after my move, I was pretty stressed, really stressed, and I've actually noticed that when I'm down or been going through a moment of stress, my screen time goes up.
Yeah, 100%.
So I become a scroller and lay in bed scrolling and dribbling and almost found myself commenting on a post the other day, which I never do. And then I deleted the comment and I was like, right. And I've moved into a new area. I've gone out and bought myself an audience survey map and I'm like just walking loads now. And I don't even take my phone with me. So then it doesn't drag you down mentally. And so the other thing is do you think that when people post it, like whatever, you know, if they're moaning, so let's talk about moaning posts, do you think that they are venting themselves, or do you think that they are hoping that the person that they're directing that to is going to read it? Because there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah, I think so. I think some of it, to be fair, is people are just venting and getting something off their chest to a certain extent. Because, like I said, if they really meant it, they would have gone to the person and said it, surely.
I don't think people do. You know, I think that, as I say, there are those people that will. And also the other thing is, so I'm quite a sensitive person that I work on my sensitivity because I do things to heart. So sometimes you might read something and you think, oh, was that me? Was that me? Was that me? And that really affects your mental health, Stuart, because the trouble is with social media, right? There's a lot of good about it. So you go to a show or you go anywhere and you kind of almost, if you're a half decent person, you feel like your behavior has got to be on point.
Yeah.
Because somebody might post it on. So I had a laugh with a woman. We went to oh God, where was I? Thames a few weeks ago, yeah. And we're sitting in the garden and her dog was they were camped two units up, and her dog got out of her garden. All right, fair enough, you know. And I was like, oh, there's a dog loose, and the dog, my Nairobi had run off with my croc around the garden. It was in my garden, but it was on the corner of my fence, and her dog came and peed up the fence and peed on my croc as well, right? So she came over and she went, I'm so sorry. And I went, oh, that's all right. Your dog's just peed up over my shoes like that. And she looked at me and I was like, don't worry. Like, you know, these things happen. Don't even worry about it. And she went, no, but he has actually peed on your shoes. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. And I was like, don't worry. And I just went and got some water and everything. It was just one of those things. And I was like, I'm going to post that on social media later, you know. And she was like, and she was spraying the fence. I'm like, just stop it. Like, you know, accidents happen. Don't worry about it. And had I been a different person or in a different frame of mind, I could have quite easily like gone on, or so, you know, a different person would have gone on social media and like, well, I can't say you've got like people keeping their dogs in their garden, and
their dogs pee on my fence,
and my shoe, and oh my God, that would have then generated like probably 400 comments, which to me would have been 400 minutes of wasted life. Do you know what I mean? Life is precious, isn't it?
Yeah. I agree. And then also, and then you put that subject up, maybe you put that on, and then out of the 400 comments, 300 of them would be nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They would be off on a random, completely different
Yes.
topic.
Yes.
Completely different topic.
Yeah.
You know, you
And
start a topic off as something, and then somebody picks up on something else, and then it goes off completely off boil, and you're like, well,
yeah.
that's not even what I was saying.
So maybe then it's about.
But it's good, I suppose, like you said, having a group is good because you want to spark off conversations and you want people to talk about. That's what social media is about.
And I think if it's taken in the right frame of mind,
Yeah.
so you know, if you take it like it is, I was following a local group here, and someone posted a picture of a guy. Oh God, I'm going to get right. Really, you know when you're like, oh, should I be saying right? I can't see that there's any reason. Don't want to re-record or anything. But okay, so there was a dad on a motorbike in a field with a child in front of him, having the whirl of their life, right?
Yeah.
Someone took a photograph, which to me contravenes like any type of privacy, saying like how dangerous this was and the fact that it wasn't a good influence on the child. Well, it got to about 728 comments. 3/4 of the comments were aimed at the person taking the photograph about the privacy that had gone on, but also, you know, how our children are spending time on the screen, playing games where they kill people and stab people and run off with, I don't even play these games, but etc. And it got so out of control. I didn't even comment. I was just reading it out of amusement. I probably should have picked up a book or something, you know.
Yeah.
But I was in a really good frame of mind. But I was in a good frame of mind because I'd done a 3-hour walk. But can you imagine not being in a good frame of mind, or maybe, I don't know, suffering from grieving or something like that,
or even as bad as it, you know, you've had a bad weekend at a show or something. That's the other thing. Like, you come back from a show on a Sunday evening, you've had a tiring weekend, it hasn't gone according to your plan or whatever it is. You sit back home tired, you open a bottle of wine, you have 2 glasses of wine, and then you go, right, I'm going on. And
I have been the victim. I call it a victim loosely because I never ever let it get to me, on 2 occasions, maybe 3 occasions, of people turning to social media when they've been drinking and moaning about decisions I've taken. I posted the other day something about, and you know, again, should I have done this? I don't know, but I posted something about remember, I've saved your ass, because I've kept my side of the story to myself. And I'm a great believer in that. You know, if somebody upsets me in my life, they usually have 3 or 4 chances, and usually too many chances. And when I say upsets you, it's like they have to like really like continue trying it. And generally it's people trying to bring me down. I shut up now. I just go bye. Bye. See you later. You're not in my life anymore. Oh, it's easy. Block. You know, and then I can't listen to you whispering on about me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not, I don't call myself perfect. I don't pretend I'm perfect, but I go out of my frigging way to make people feel good. Sometimes I shouldn't, but I do. So, you know, why would you turn to social media? As you say, is it an event? Is it that people want to have a good topic?
Or, maybe trying to start a conversation.
You know, maybe it is the way people word it as well, because people are quite emotive in text, aren't they? You know, I can be very emotive. If I'm like really emotive, I'm like, oh, three pages later, it's like, But, and most people would have said that in one word. Maybe people need to start bullet pointing. If they want to start a conversation on something that happened, like... try and take the emotion out of it a little bit. Yes, exactly that, you know, or discussion subject. you know,
And I
actually,
think
I
sometimes
do
as
that
well,
in one
it might be
Go on.
that people get, you know, you get back from an event, a workshop, a show, or wherever it is you've been, and it might be that your family, the person you live with, whatever, isn't involved in fertility.
Yeah, well,
You've
I
got
guess,
nobody to discuss it with, so your only choice is.
yeah, I've had that
social media.
since the kids have grown up. You know, I'm like, oh, I find myself talking to the dogs while I'm painting the fence and stuff like that. You know?
So social media in that way, you go, well, actually, I've got something to say about this, but I can't speak to my husband about it because he doesn't understand it, or he doesn't, you know, he doesn't come to the shows, he doesn't know anybody, and all that sort of stuff. So I have to go onto social media technically and, you know, put that out there to see if I can get a conversation going about it. Maybe there's a bit of that in there. But it's just
Are you finding people generally, like, not the people that you're socializing with, but generally quite grumpy at shows at the moment? Maybe I was grumpy at the weekend.
Yeah, there is. I do feel there is a little bit more of there is a little bit more tension at some shows for some reason.
I want to remind people, like, this time last year, we didn't even know we were going to run our dogs again.
Yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of tension at shows. I don't know whether, like you say, like we said at the very beginning, whether that's just people have had a new sort of outlook on life, or a new, you know, they've had a bit of a, you know, the you could say trauma of all the stuff that's gone on over the last however long. Life's really tough at the moment, you know, with everything, you know, prices of everything going up. And
but you see that on Facebook as well. And this is why I have started to really step away from social media. So I have to use it for work. You know, I do have someone that does a little bit for me now, but I have to use social media. It's a great tool. Very rarely someone will go like, oh, did you see that? And I'm like, no, I didn't know, because I don't scroll through my news feed. Because I'm like, oh God, oh God, you know, and it's like, I think it brings you down, you know, especially if someone's trying to point the finger at a group of people, or point the finger at an individual, and like, it's social media shouldn't be about that.
No, I agree. And sometimes, and I think that is also happening. I think that's happening more and more now. But again, I think you could argue that there's so much, people are having such a stressful time now. It may be that it's their only release, and it's not necessarily somebody at the door.
Postman.
So it might be that you know, somebody is their only release is you know, pointing the finger at somebody else, or not, you know. It's a difficult one for me, I think.
Yeah, but social media shouldn't be about that.
No, it shouldn't be, but I think it's just become part and parcel now. It's part of real life now. It's part of,
it is part of real life.
It's part of everybody's life now, on a minute by minute basis. It almost, not even by hour, by minute, people are living through their social media.
Yeah, and I guess we'll sound like old fogies if we you know, like, you know, I post a lot less than I used to. I went for a stage where it was an addiction. I actually feel that for me, my phone became an addiction. And also there's this misconstrued idea that you're seeing somebody. So, like, you know, even my friends, I caught up with her for the first time since probably September. I know everything that's gone on in her life, like absolutely everything, as she does with me, because of social media, you know. And I guess it's a useful joining tool, so, you know, you can see it. But how often is social media a trigger, if you like, for a bad mood?
Loads. Social media is one of the worst things for when your energy's low and your mood's low and whatever. I think the last thing you should be doing is going onto social media.
It is generally the first thing that you do, isn't it?
Absolutely, because it's easy and convenient.
It's easy and convenient, and I think there's a lot to be said about they make it addictive, don't they? So the colours and the screen time and everything else.
Like Facebook and whatever it is now, they they have like the most what's the word, the biggest, most expensive profilers, psychiatrists, psychologists, whatever. They pay them all the money to give them information to make things addictive.
Really?
Yeah, so they actually employ people to how do we make this more addictive? How do we make this more attractive, if that makes sense? What triggers people? What gets people going? And they put it on. That's how they make it on social media. That's how it works. That's why, like with all the different sort of algorithms and that's why literally there's the minute you click on something or whatever, they'll start hitting you with that. That's why you get all the posts in the right.
I noticed something, right? There's something very, very bizarre happens to me. I know that if you like go onto a website or anything, it picks it up, and Facebook, you know, comes up with the adverts and etc. Right? I made a phone call to a friend that runs a blind installation company.
Yeah.
Okay, moved into a new house, wanted some new blinds fitted. Yeah.
Yeah.
A week later, I had a brochure through my door from a different blind installation company.
Yeah.
Is that a coincidence? I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But it can happen. I mean, you know, you think about it now, we've got our Alexas, we've got our Googles, we've got our whatever else in the house on constantly. And we talk about things and phone people and surf the web and whatever else. And this is, I mean, this will go off completely off.
Worrying, isn't it,
I can go into my conspiracy theories and all the bits and pieces that go with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, and this is what I sort of say when people worry about certain points, they go, oh wow, if I do that, this will find out. I said, do you not realize that people already know?
Yeah, I think that the good thing with we'll keep it on point here, as you say, because we could, you know, I'll spook myself. I'll go around unplugging all my
put our tinfoil hats back on and stuff like that. Yeah.
But you know, let's keep it on point.
But do people not even, you know, and I think, and that's also, like we said, going back to the beginning about people always watching, as funny as that is, I
like throwing a little red herrings to people that I know that are probably stalking.
There's always somebody watching, always, whether that be on social media, whether that be at your local show, whether that be down the town, whatever. You're never away from somebody that you don't know. Somebody will always know what you're doing at some point.
Do you think? I used to have this thing when the kids were little. They're proud they're not listening to this, but not little, but they were old enough to be left. So as a single parent, like living on my own, obviously at times I like couldn't get away from it. And I would go down to Co-op and I would buy a cream egg and I would sit in my car with the windows up eating a cream egg. Like no one knows where I am.
But you know, but now with the social media and the phones and all the bits, people will always know where you are, what you're doing at some point.
Yeah, and that's useful. It's useful from a business point of view.
Yeah.
It is really, really useful.
I mean, that's what I like from a social media business.
And the thing is, I guess I live in this frigging wonderful rose-coloured tinted world where I think everybody is supporting each other, and actually they're not. You know, if I was to go, I haven't been on Agility Net, I haven't been on any of the big groups or any of my own big groups, and there's always someone out to get someone. I just want to get a life. I want to just shake them, like, get a life, you know, get a hobby yourself, go and do something, come on. Stop trying to bring people down via social media. And is it that they just bring themselves down?
Yeah, I mean, they try to make themselves feel a bit better, I suppose, by either bringing people down to their level or you know, I mean, we're Somali. I mean, I don't know, because we're not.
What's the message that we're trying to say to people today? Okay, we'll kind of wrap this up.
So I think for everybody, it's just to think about what you're about to say or type or whatever it is before you type it. And if you're happy with it, then that's absolutely fine. Type away, do whatever you need to do. But if you can imagine somebody typing that about you or saying that to you, and that would upset you or offend you, then don't do it.
Yes, yeah, be nice. Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily about being nice. I don't think that's we can say about the be kind, be nice and all that sort of stuff. But if you've got something important to say and it may upset somebody when you say it, that's absolutely fine if you're saying it or doing it for a valid reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I
guess it's careful how you word it, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and think about it, and just before you type it, say it, whatever. If somebody said that to you, would that upset you, or would that cause you any problems? And if it would, then you need to look at that.
Yeah, and then that brings us back round to like being resilient, to like, oh well, you know.
Yeah. And that's the other part of it, is if somebody does say or do something on Facebook or social media, you've just got to go, oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's fine.
That was me.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. And then when you see them,
that was me.
When you see them at the next show and you walk up to them and they go, morning, you're right, and you go, hang on a minute.
I did that to somebody. I called them out, not on social media. My friend was videoing. They were standing next to them, and the person slated my handling. And it came out on video. And it's somebody that had been saying hello and how are you for the last 10 years or however long, and then did it at the next show. And I went, wait, I've got video proof that you stood outside the ring slating me. I did it with like a little bit of humor in there.
Yeah.
And this person like, oh yeah, about that, I'm sorry. I went, yeah, watch what you're saying.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I never hold a grudge, you know, but
even more so now when there's so many people videoing runs and friends, you don't know who's doing what or whatever.
Yeah, when in video like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right,
I think we'll wrap that one up there. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Nice to see you again.
And you, yeah.
See you later.